Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Higurashi. So it looks like we're probably in the final stretch here, maybe, although I've said that a few times. We beat Takano, took out the mountain dogs, Bloodhounds came in, saved the day, and we even got to go to the festival, it looks like. I still can't shake the feeling that something bad is still going to happen, but then again, we kind of did the if we really believe there's a miracle, thing already, so we could really just be set up at this point for an epilogue. I don't know, but we will play for a bit today and see where we get to. They almost had too much energy left. It'd been a long day and many things had happened, but they still had the energy to go to the festival. It was, after all, the special day of Watanagashi. The curse of Oyashiro-sama had been lifted, and no tragedy would ever occur again. It was the first peaceful Watanagashi, the first one without a tragedy since the dam conflict. The villagers had noticed that the phone lines were disconnected during the day, but it was fixed so quickly that they didn't pay much attention. They heard the Self-Defense Force helicopter near the mountains, but rumor had it that they came to the wrong place for their training. The elderly villagers laughed and said that the young men of the National Defense Force needed to pay more attention. Those young kids flying their helicopters into our forests. Some people say that the Self-Defense Force even came to the Irie clinic. The villagers didn't even get suspicious about that. They assumed that the Irie clinic had started doing physical checkups for the SDF. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why would the SDF come all the way out to this little village for checkups? Well, since we're out here, we've gone to the wrong training location. Let's go see the doctor. There were pieces of broken glass on the roadside near the village border, as if there was an accident. Some people wondered how anyone could have an accident when there is no obstruction on the road. The elderly people said to each other that they always had to drive carefully, even on a familiar road. But it looked only like a trace of a normal accident, so they didn't get suspicious. Those old people sure are dumb. The rest was a ghost story. The villagers heard an extra firework to signal the festival taking place. It wasn't an echo. The people in charge of the fireworks were puzzled. But when Rika said Oyashiro-sama must have shot the extra firework, the villagers simply believed that it was true. It was the night of the Watanagashi, the biggest festival of the year. The villagers forgot their worries and enjoyed themselves. The club members were doing great as usual. I'm glad to know that Irie's little car accident cleared up quick enough for him to come and enjoy the festival with us. It kind of sounded like it wasn't, majorly serious. I'm not saying he didn't get into a car accident, but it didn't sound like he broke anything based on his relative ability to keep up with the group. He probably, I don't know, he might have gotten, a concussion or something. But then again, this was 19 whatever, I don't know if they had airbags. Probably didn't. So it could have been a little more serious than a typical accident that might push you off the road, And down a hill? That could honestly, he might just be really lucky. Anyway, they were doing so great that they were all taken to the main tent and yelled at by the mayor. That was a normal Watanagashi night for the villagers. But there was one thing that was very different. The girls fought for an unimaginably long time in many different worlds for the sake of this night. However, nobody would ever know that. Oh, there was another big change too. Rika Furude says that she wants to go to a pool in the summer. It's unusual for her to say she wants to do something. She wants to see the stars. She wants to go on a camping trip. She wants to look at the sunflowers. She wants to make the school into a haunted house, etc. There are so many things she wants to do over the summer break. Right, Rika Furude for the first time, is making plans for after June 1983. Because this is the first summer break she's going to experience. After 100 years of repeating the same life, she will now experience an all-new summer vacation. Who would stop her from getting excited about that? Rika Furude is looking forward to waking up before Satoko to rip the page off the calendar at the end of June. Rika Furude's infinite future has begun. There are infinite possibilities, yet she can only make one choice. But that's why it's a great world. Let's talk for a moment about the people who fought with Rika Furude. Mian Sonozaki has vowed to study hard so she can continue her education after the summer break. According to Keiichi, even that may not be enough time for her. However, how can the legendary club leader, Mian Sonozaki, fail an entrance exam? She will more than likely find a way to get into the school she wants to go into. Hopefully it isn't an illegal one. Anyhow, she's looking forward to enjoying her final summer break, so she has tons of plans. The club members can't get away from Mian, even during the summer. Once you're involved with her, she always finds a way to get at you. No matter how much you want to be alone, you'll never go back to spending a boring summer by yourself. Keiichi Maibara has been asked by Mian and Chi-sensei to be their next class president. He was also asked to be the next club leader too, but he declined immediately. Keiichi likes the club because Mian runs it. He continued saying that it's Mian's club until she got mad. Keiichi can't understand why she's so angry. Well, Keiichi wouldn't be Keiichi if he wasn't dense. So things are rather lively around him again today. His good name continues to spread, even in Okinamiya. Rene Ryugu is growing more energetic every day too. Satoko, Rika, and Hanyu spend every day in fear of being abducted by her. Still, she's been acting more mature lately. She takes care of her younger classmates, and she's almost like a mother figure to the class. She is like a mother to all of the club members too. After hearing that, Keiichi said that he'd be a father for the class. As usual, Rin thought about that too much and blushed. Satoko Hojo is as lively as ever. She used up most of her traps in the mountain during the battle with the mountain dogs, so she's setting up new ones for the next event. Rumor has it that some member of the Bloodhounds were so impressed with her trap techniques that they asked her for some lessons. There's supposed to be a training area near Mount Fuji, and they asked her to set up her traps there. It's not a very good idea. The Sea of Trees really will become a forest of no return. Legend has it that you still find dead bodies in these forests of people that either drowned in the rain or got hung in a tree and nobody could really find them. You know, I don't know, like duct tape wrapped around their mouth, hanging, slowly decaying for years. Either way, Satoko keeps saying how she wants to fight against the Bloodhounds next. She's invincible. Also, she's become a great cook. That's because Hanyu has been teaching her. According to Hanyu, Satoko is a quick learner, as compared to Rika. Satoko's dream is to master fried chicken, which is her brother's favorite, and welcome him home with it. I'm the only one who knows this, but her dream may come true very soon. As for her brother, Satoshi Hojo has yet to return home. His condition is unchanged. If there's been any change, it's in Shion Sonozaki. She goes to the clinic on her days off. Nobody knows why she goes there, but she seems to be very happy, so nobody pays much attention to it. Mian has teased Shion by saying that maybe she's planning on getting implants, but Shion just smiles. Also, for whatever reason, she's been visiting her relative's clothes shop and buying up all kinds of men's clothing. Lately, she's even started buying more than just men's clothing, But why is she excited when she visits the clinic with a maid outfit that's not in her size? The truth is shrouded in mystery. Okay. The biggest change is probably that Shion babies Satoko nowadays. She tries to make Satoko call her Nini, which only annoys Satoko. Irie has two jobs now. On one hand, he's a respected doctor, and on the other hand, he's an evangelist for maids. The Irie clinic was supposed to be closed, but the villagers pleaded with the authorities not to shut it down. While Irie isn't originally from the village, he and everyone else feel that he's one of the villagers now. He's an indispensable part of village life. The conservative attitude towards Hinamizawa syndrome is gone, and now it's being researched very proactively. The syndrome is being researched so passionately that, hopefully in the near future, all the victims of this disease will be freed for good. That sounds a little weird. I would have thought that the authorities really would have just squashed that and gotten, rid of the whole idea of Hinamizawa syndrome. But maybe it was a little too much in the public eye now, and they couldn't quite do it. Also, later on, Irie will publish an advanced article about the influence of the brain on human behavior, which will surprise people in the medical world. Although, now that I think about it, the negative ideas were the fact... I guess the fact that it does exist is a little negative, but the bigger negative was the fact that the government was trying to cover it up. That would have been the real bad thing. So if they covered that part of it up, that they were going to cover it up by murdering the villagers, maybe it could become public knowledge. Perhaps. I won't go into the details here, but it'll talk about how one should hate the sins instead of the sinners. The deceased Hifumi Takano and Mio Takano's names will be mentioned in that article. Jiro Tomitake still visits Hinamizawa every season. He's still known as the fighting traveling photographer, and he continues to walk around the village looking for good picture spots. However, he isn't seen in the village as much as before. His bicycle is always parked around the back of the clinic, so maybe he spends a lot of time there. Some villagers say maybe he's sick and being treated, but his bright smile proves that they are wrong. Mio Takano hasn't been seen since that day. Nobody knows where she's gone. But obviously, Tomitake isn't worried, so she must be doing fine. She'll probably show up one day out of nowhere and start telling ghost stories to scare some kids. As for Mamoru Akasaka, what happened to him was pretty funny. His wife and daughter followed him in secret. They pretended to run into him at the festival. Rika called him Papa, so things grew complicated all of a sudden. Akasaka's wife smiled, but she choked his neck with her braided hair. Her arms were folded, but her braid moved like a tail. Squeeze! She tortured a man who destroyed a special forces unit without even using a weapon. Rika continued to tease him, making the situation even worse. However, Akasaka's family liked Hinamizawa, and they said they wanted to come back. Akasaka's daughter and Rika grew so close that they seemed like sisters. I'm not used to saying their first name. Karato Oishi has gotten back into playing Mahang. For whatever reason, Akane Sonozaki has joined his table too, and there's rumors a riot squad almost got dispatched to the Mahang parlor one time. His colleagues say Oishi has calmed down quite a bit. It's probably because he has reached closure within himself, but his colleagues know nothing about that. He's planning to move to Hokkaido when he retires, but he wants to come back every summer. His bright second life is waiting for him. Tatsuyoshi Kasai hasn't changed much compared to the others. To some people, this was a life-changing event. But for Kasai, this was just another episode added to his tales of heroics. According to Kasai, this incident was just a little bigger than usual. If this was just a little unusual, then what in the world would be needed to impress him? Shion insists that he will tell her, but Kasai only tells her that it's a secret. Also, he regretted exposing that part of his past. Shion keeps begging him to tell her all about it, but he simply ignores her. There's a lot of people to go over here. Let me talk about myself too. I, Hanyu, am doing great in my new life as Hanyu Furude. I'm finally getting better at playing games, and now I'm taking the role of the club's dark horse, a position formerly reserved for Keiichi Maibara. I have a bad habit of believing everything I hear, so Mion and the others always tell me some strange things. Thanks to that, I'm getting tougher, to put it in a good way. Shrewd, to put it in a bad one. But then I need to, otherwise I wouldn't survive in this club. I'm going to continue to learn a lot of stuff through these club activities, so I can live in this human world. Sunday, June 19th, 1983. Night falls on my longest day of the past 1,000 years. The club members are having a blast. A lot of people are here. The stall vendors are still doing business. The speakers are blaring rough yet exciting festival music. I've known all of these, but how wonderful it is to actually feel and hear them in person. I thought I knew. I thought I knew because I've been following and watching them. But that was completely different. I knew of it, but this is the first time I've actually experienced it. We had a takoyaki eating contest. There was no octopus in it, but it was still very tasty. We had a shaved ice eating contest. I would have enjoyed the shaved ice if I had eaten it more slowly. I bought a candied apple for the first time. Everyone took a bite from it. It was tasty. And it was fun. We played a shooting game. I didn't know how difficult it would be to shoot a target. But it was fun too. Also, we played a shady lottery game. It was one of those things where you pulled a string and got a prize. Nobody got a good prize. We all complained about it to the vendor. That too was just so much fun. I'll curse you with the power of Oishiro-sama for your injustice. Then it was time for the dedication dance. Of course we go there early, so we commandeered the best seats. I snuck out and stood where I was told to. I could see better than the other club members. This was the spot where the object of worship sat. This is where I was supposed to be during the ritual dance. No, this is where I thought I had to be. But seeing the dance from that spot wasn't fun. Therefore, I returned to where I was, and I sat with everyone else. They saved me a spot. Everyone rubbed my head while asking me where I went. I apologized by saying, "Ow, ow!" That made me very happy. I watched the performance in the crowd of people. It was the best dance I've witnessed in the past 1,000 years. I couldn't keep either my happiness or my tears from flowing out. After the dance was over, a handful of cotton was passed around to all the villagers. We let the cotton absorb all the filth and sins of the past year and washed it down the stream. Cotton is cotton. Obviously, it's not human. We use cotton instead of a human, so that nobody is sad. In other words, this is the way to purify sins without making anyone suffer.
はい、これ。羽生ちゃんの綿だよ。やり方わかる？
Of course I know how to put cotton in a stream.
こうしてポンポンしてから流すのですよ。はんはん。
The girl who gave me the cotton took the letter I from her name during last year's Watanagashi and washed it down the stream. By doing so, she was freed from her suffering and began a new life. We drifted our sins down the stream. It's not the same as pushing our sins into the cotton. Instead, we wash away our own sins and forgive ourselves. We forgive each other, we help each other, and that's how we create our own story. I put my cotton in the stream gently. The cotton went down the stream, into the world, where sins are cleansed. I let my bare feet soak in the clear stream, as I watched the long, long line of cotton flowing down the stream in the dark, surrounded by people sending their cotton flowing down into the wondrous stream. This is a complete world where all the fragments were put together. This is an ideal world. What else is there? What else do you need? Hanyu Furude still wants more, because we can be even happier than this. We can be happier if we wish to be. Not a long time from now, but in the near future. Then when is it? I told you, it's in the near future. We will be happy then too. See? Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is accepting that. Everyone is entitled to happiness. The difficult part is fulfilling that. I too am entitled to happiness. The difficult part is working out a compromise, because from now on I'm going to live a much happier life. I'm not going to compromise just this. We'll retrieve all the happiness we missed. 100 years worth for me, 1,000 years worth for you. Report on, I'm not even going to try to say that, of the Irie Institute proposal. One of the responsibilities of the Irie Institute is the administration of the emergency manual. Certain personnel, however, conspired to execute the manual under false circumstances. I can't read this all quick enough. Irie has nothing to do with this. Okay, so she got infected. Oh, that's from Nomura. Okay. Okay, and I have no idea what that says. Okay, well, you know, maybe there's still a little bit more after this, maybe not. Probably could have finished it last time, but as previously stated, I had no idea how long this set was going to end up being, you know. It's just like this game to run these credits and then give me another, like, 2 hours of, you know, gameplay. So I really could happen, to be honest. Or, like, Takano's not really dead, you know, and then now we have to deal with Nomura coming and ruining the village or something. I don't know. So a long set. I wouldn't say it's necessarily out of place, considering it is like the big finale. Though, I kind of feel like it could have gotten broken up into 2 or 3 separate, you know, chapters, so to speak. Didn't have to all play out in one go, you know? But I wouldn't say it's, like, bad. Okay, I don't know what this says. They're saying it after every single one of these lines. Subarashi Kuwaku something else. Arigato gomaigesu. Maybe somebody that has either a better understanding of this or an understanding of Japanese can explain what this is. It looks like it is just credits for various individuals, various music tracks. I do recognize that DAI, music and arranged by DAI. So it looks like it may be attributing certain people in certain groups, as like traditional credits are, mind you. But I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I'm waiting to see if something else happens. Maybe they'll give us some tips this time. Oh man, they love that sound, don't they? Yeah, are there actually any tips this time? I don't think there really were. Oh yeah, I forgot. There is going to be that. Okay, so we do have a tip, and we do have the after thing, the staff room thing, or whatever that was.